You've worked hard to earn and save. Now it's time to make your money work hard for you. This is Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida of A Better Way Financial.
All right, thinking about time frames and how things can change. If you go back about 10 years ago, 60-ish% of employer plans offered a Roth 401k option. Today, guys, that's up to 95%. So
very nice.
There's obviously something going on here that people are liking when it comes to the Roth 401k. So for somebody who's listening to you on WAEB right now and thinking about what changes they might need to consider making in this new year, what are advantages of a Roth 401k?
You know, Heather, the Roth is it's a very, very special vehicle. It's wonderful because you can save a ton of money in taxes throughout your lifetime. If you go with the regular 401k, you're putting your money in, you're getting a little tax write-off for this year. Hey, that's fine and dandy. But you've never paid taxes on that money. And so now all of that money is accruing and growing. Yeah, it is tax deferred. But you know what? It's going to grow and grow and grow. And when you go to take that money out, it's all going to be taxable. But if you put it into the Roth 401k option, okay, you pay the taxes on it now. It's a little bit of taxes, yeah. But now you've already paid the taxes on it. And now that money is going to continue to grow. And when you pull it out, it's all tax-free. It makes a world of difference.
Definitely can make a huge difference. And something I thought was interesting, well, I don't know if you guys were paying attention when they passed that OBA that they passed, but they did sneak something in there about the 401ks that I think it's good for our listeners to hear about. Okay. And what it is if you earned over $150,000 this year in FICA wages, for 2026, if you're 50 or older, you have a catch-up contribution that you can make into your 401k. So there's roughly about $24,000 that you can put into the 401k, and then there's a catch-up for roughly an additional $8,000, $8,500 or so that you could put into there as well. Mm-hmm. Now, what they did is they made it so that you're forced, if you're over that $150,000, to put the catch-up contributions into the Roth.
Interesting.
Which I thought was interesting. Yeah. Because usually the Roth can be better, but in some cases, if you're a very high-income earner, it actually might be worse. And so it's good to have it evaluated to see what's the very best thing for your specific situation. If your expenses are going to be lower in retirement than they are currently, it might make sense to have it go into the pre-tax portion and having it evaluated. But there are a lot of advantages to having that money go into the Roth portion of the 401k. One of the advantages is there's no RMDs on Roth IRAs. So if you roll that Roth 401k into the Roth IRA after you retire, there's no RMD that you have to take out from there. There's no tax on the principal as well. So basically when you take that money out, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, there's no tax that you have to pay on the principal. There's also no tax on the interest after 5 years and after age 60. So this can be a way to be able to get more tax-free income in your retirement years. It also can allow for tax deferral for kids, or a tax-free income, really, for kids, and they can defer those taxes or really defer that money, allow it to grow tax-free for up to 10 years when they inherit those funds. So when you inherit a Roth IRA, there's no required minimum distribution that the kids have to take each year. They just have to fully distribute that account by the end of 10 years.
Okay.
Whereas an IRA, they have to take an RMD every single year over those 10 years.
Got it.
And then they have to fully distribute it, and they have to pay taxes all the while.
Got it.
So the Roth money can be a way to be better for legacy planning, be better for estate planning. However, you do have to pay those taxes up front. And so there's a lot of calculations that go into place into seeing with the financial planning software. Is it better to do it Roth now? Is it better to do it pre-tax now? It's January. Now is the time to really get that evaluated as we're making these plans for the year. How do I want to contribute into my 401k if I'm still working? And figuring out, well, should I do it pre-tax? Should I do it Roth? What percentage makes the most sense for me? Am I doing the right withholding on my taxes? All of that stuff is important things to look through as we're in January starting out the year here.
Yeah.
But what about if you're not working, right? If you are working, well, that's something you want to evaluate. But what about if you're not working and you have money in a 401k or you have money in an IRA? Well, you still can put money into a Roth. You just can't use a Roth 401k.
Okay.
You can still use what's called a Roth IRA and do what's called a Roth conversion, which in essence means you have money in an IRA, you pay the taxes on it now and transition it into a Roth IRA. And so, yes, you have to pay the taxes on it now, But that money, the money that you have now in that Roth IRA and any of the growth on it is going to be tax-free for the rest of your lifetime. And so that can be a huge impact there. That can really make a difference. And then the kids inherit it, as I was saying earlier, tax-free. They don't have to pay the taxes on it either. And so there can be a lot of tax advantages to doing those Roth conversions. But what are some things to look out for? Well, the first thing is the tax bill, right? If you convert $100,000, it's as if you have an extra $100,000 of income this year. And that can be problematic if, let's say, you're taking Social Security or you've turned 65 and you have Medicare premiums. And so if you have those Medicare premiums and then your income's over a certain threshold, you can actually have an extra surcharge that you have to pay on that. So as you're doing these conversions, you want to figure out, well, what is that surcharge amount? It's roughly about $218,000, $220,000 or so. If your income is above that, then you have to pay that surcharge amount. If it's less than that, you don't have to worry about it. What else can it affect? It can affect that extra standard deduction that you have above age 65 that they passed with OBA. You can get an extra $6,000 standard deduction over age 65 per person, or $12,000 if you're in a married couple. However, that's if the income level is under $150,000 or so. So if you're doing a Roth conversion, now that's increasing that, well, then that's less of a deduction. A lot of things factor in. You want to have a financial planning team, a tax planning team, looking through it, making sure that you guys are doing what's best for you personally in your retirement when it comes to taxes. Oftentimes, we're able to show folks how to save hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes over the course of their retirement years. And so you don't want to leave this money on the table. You want to make sure that you're keeping that extra money in your pocket instead of having it go to Uncle Sam's. And so if you haven't had one of these complimentary retirement tax plans drawn up for you, give us a call and we're going to be able to personally put one together for you. If you're 55 and older and you save $500,000 or more for your retirement, give us a call right now for your complimentary retirement tax plan. That number is 610-440-3722. And we are offering this right now for the next 5 callers. Again, that's 610-440-3722.
You know, Heather, I think taxes are probably the most important reason why we actually won here at A Better Way Financial, the #1 financial planning company here in the Lehigh Valley, the Morning Call Reader's Choice Award. Yeah. So folks recognize what we're doing in this area, and they're saying, hey, you know what? We know you've done it for others. Can you do it for us? We had a couple come in. They had come to one of our dinner workshops. They lived in Bethlehem. Mm-hmm. He was 66. She was 62. They saved $4.4 million. And they charitable people, good people. They had a couple of kids. They just wanted to do things in a tax efficient manner. And they said, what do we do, guys? How do we do this?
Yeah, they came in. They wanted some help with their retirement. They had a lot of money in IRAs and 401k type funds, and they had some in CDs. And so we looked at, well, what can we do to save you guys some money in taxes? That was their big concern. They're like, what am I doing wrong? I'm getting taxed at ordinary income for these CDs. I'm going to have to worry about these RMDs in the future, and I want to protect myself against that. What can I do to save some money in taxes? Yeah. And I said, guys, you are asking the right questions. So let's talk about it. And in their case, I was like, here's one of your problems is these CDs. Not only do you not get a great rate of return in CDs, maybe you're getting 4 or 5% tops in a CD, but you're also getting taxed at ordinary income tax brackets. So we said, let's use these funds. Instead of having it in a CD, let's invest it on the stock market side. And if we have it in a brokerage account on the market side and we have it held longer than 1 year there, you're going to be able to qualify for that long-term capital gains tax treatment, which instead of being at that 24% tax bracket, we're going to be able to get that down to the 15% tax bracket for your long-term capital gains. So able to save you guys some money there. We looked at, well, you guys currently give to the church. Let's make sure we continue to do that as you're planning to, but we're going to be able to do it more tax efficiently post 70s. So like once you hit that required minimum distribution age, you're going to be able to have that money go to the church without having to get distributed and without you having to pay taxes on it. So what usually that was happening is they would take their income, so they made money, and then they would write a check out to the church. But what they could do is they can have it go directly from their IRAs when they're RMD age, go right directly to the church. They don't have to pay the taxes on it. The church doesn't have to pay any taxes on it. and it's able to satisfy a portion of their required minimum distribution. We also looked into Roth conversions, converting anywhere between 0 and 100,000 over the next 4 years within that 24% tax bracket is what made the most sense for them specifically, and doing the tax planning for them. They were projected to save around $234,000 in taxes over their retirement, and projected to leave their kids an extra $223,000 of tax savings as well.
Wow.
The tax savings means that they're going to be able to get more income in their retirement years.
Yeah.
Almost double, well, actually more than double the amount of income they were spending. They were spending $120,000 of income. We said, guys, if you really want to if you want to try to get the most out of your retirement, you could actually do another $125,000 more of income per year. Whether you're spending that, whether you're gifting that, regardless of what the case is, that's more money to be able to do what you want, to maximize your funds here in your retirement rather than leaving a sum at the end. And so we were able to show them a 90+% probability of success, whereas they only had a 61% chance with the current plan to do that extra amount. And this is what we do for folks all the time, the ones who are wanting to learn, what can I do to save money in taxes? How can I position my portfolio now so that in my retirement years I'm paying less in taxes? If you have those questions, give us a call, and we're going to be able to put together a complimentary retirement tax plan for you. If you're 55 and older and you save $500,000 or more for your retirement, give us that call right now, because for the next 5 callers, we are offering a complimentary retirement tax plan and review, which for these folks, we were able to show how to save over $200,000 in taxes. For you, perhaps it's more or less, but give us a call. Let's find out. That number to dial, 610-440-3722. That's 610-440-3722, or find us online at abetterwayfinancial.com.
Thanks for listening to Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida. To learn more, visit abetterwayfinancial.com.
By contacting us, we'll review aspects of your retirement portfolio to include suggestions about how best to utilize estate, tax, and retirement planning strategies and other financial services, or if changing management styles is appropriate for your specific needs and objectives. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendations to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. A Better Way Financial is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any client experiences discussed during this show are unique to that client, and they are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Advisory services offered through A Better Way Financial. Insurance offered through licensed professionals at A Better Way Financial. Pennsylvania Insurance License number 301779.